Heyo guys, it's Christmas! Yeah, if you didn't already know, it's Christmas. Welcome to the #1 podcast in the world. And it's Christmas. So it's a Christmas podcast. Yay! Yeah, I was just making my thumbnail just right now. Trying to find the weirdest face. I settled on something like that. Something like that. My thumbnail, you'll see. Well, you would have seen the thumbnail already. But yeah, rocking my Sony headphones just to keep me in the zone while I'm podcasting. That's not promotion, but they are good headphones. It was between this and the Bose, and it was a long story. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later on actually. But it's Christmas, guys. I got my Christmas jumper. Look at that. You see? In the spirit of Christmas. Of course, there's a lot going on. I've done so much Christmas shopping. I've run out of money, literally. I'm poor. I'm going to be living on the streets. No. But on a serious note, yeah. There's a lot of, people without homes this time of year. It's Christmas. So, find that balance of enjoying your Christmas and being humble, because there's people that have a lot less and don't even know what kind of Christmas normal people have. Yeah, presents and all that, but that's not really what Christmas is about. Why can't we be willing to give someone a gift any time of the year or help those in need, you know? Why only Christmas? But yeah, that's some people, not all of us. But yeah, I've been going mad with the gaming. But yeah, just had a crazy weekend. End of season party at Power Chair Football. A few drinks, food, you know. But annoyingly, the night before, our neighbours decided to have a party till 4 a.m. and blast music that was it's not fair, really. My brother had to get up for work on Sunday. He happened to be working Sunday. So much to his annoyance, he didn't get much sleep. None of us did. And then we got up Sunday and went to football, to the party anyway. There was training. Funny story, one of my teammates, he drove through, there's a barrier that divides the two basketball courts in the sports hall where we train. It's like a barrier, it's like a wooden barrier. He went through the barrier, guys, with his chair. You see me play, you know how hard those chairs can strike a ball. So imagine what he did to a wall. You know, well, a bit of wood. Goodbye. If that's someone's leg, you're losing your leg. And then you will be a Power Chair football player. You have no choice. Yeah. I've been doing so much shopping. Different places. From Wood Green to Watford Shopping Centre. I've been to Primark twice in 3 days. From Saturday to Monday. Different Primarks, Wood Green and Watford. Yeah, I think I was going to say the Watford one is better, but well, I don't know. For me, the Wood Green one had more stuff, different stuff. It was a bit busier. That's just the difference between Monday and Saturday shopping. But I don't go to Wood Green that often, just because I like not having stuff I own at risk to being nicked and stuff. That's not having a go at anyone. That's just the area. Watford, it could just as easily happen in Watford. But yeah, I go to Watford a lot more. I'm more familiar. Got a club in there too, so I know the area pretty well. It's full of Italians too, so I kind of fit in. But I hope you're having a wonderful build up to Christmas. I mean, some of you are probably working hard, you know, getting ready for that time off that you've been waiting for since the summer or since last year or whenever. Just make the most of it. Family time, friends, whatever. Christmas parties, secret Santas, the list goes on. That's just Christmas, isn't it? And it's always a melancholy kind of thing, I feel sometimes at Christmas. I don't know why, because you kind of feel guilty that you're having all this fun, and some people are not. And that takes me on to my next thing, which is not really about Christmas. It's just about life, really. It's been a difficult week. Last week who was it? Yeah, I probably should remember. Juice WRLD, that rapper, he died the other week because of overdosing on drugs, because basically he heard the police were coming, so he took all his drugs to hide them. That was the only way, and then he overdosed as a result. This was a young guy, another young rapper that's taken far too soon, and it's like what, fourth or fifth one, Lil Peep, Extension, and so on. Mac Miller, and then we've still got people like R. Kelly alive, and like people that don't necessarily deserve, you know. So that young, it's just not fair to lose a musician because like they got so much more to offer. You see these musicians, comedians. You see these musicians in the latter years of their life still performing, still enjoying it. Rolling Stones, so many more of that age group. Paul McCartney, So to see these young artists just taken because of taking drugs out of maybe depression or anxiety and the build up of other things, and just the pressure of being so young and so famous and all the attention on you, it can be daunting and it can be lonely because they haven't got friends, they've got fans really. They've got friends that maybe other artists, but maybe no one can quite understand their situation. And Juice WRLD, like the way he talked, you could tell like he was taking too many drugs and stuff and down and depressed, like all of us in some ways at times. I mean, some people can't comprehend actual depression and anxiety as like an everyday thing. Like everyone has like days where they feel down or up, but when it's a medical thing, and nowadays it's becoming more and more common, and I think social media is to blame in some ways. Look at Instagram, look at Facebook. It's people portraying these fake, always like perfect, happy lives that we don't actually live in the real world. But everyone's more concerned about what they look like online and what they sound like, when it shouldn't be like that, really. There's all this pressure to look a certain way, talk, sound, be a certain way. Can't just be yourself, It's impossible nowadays. And yeah, I feel I get days when I'm down, yeah, but these people are led to taking, well, maybe they're medically prescribed, but like it gets to a point where drugs don't help or don't work. It's just you need something to help you get past that, be it therapy, a friend, something like anything. And these people unfortunately didn't get that, and they've felt alone. But I think as four of them had the same issues. I mean, the more people get together and discuss things that they have in common, like that kind of stuff, can help people get through it and grow and forget prescribing drugs to solve these problems. Because you're not necessarily born with anxiety and depression. It comes with life experience. In a lot of the time, not all the time. I'm not a doctor. I'm really not a doctor. I don't know. But yeah, it's been difficult because, and then Monday to find out that a friend of mine in Italy, a mutual friend of mine, actually took their own life last Monday, which is like, it brings it full circle, There's these famous people that I don't know taking their lives or having their lives taken because of things like this and their industry. And then there's real people like this mutual friend of mine who once came down to the south maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and my other friend was telling me, and she went to the funeral actually in Florence, and it makes you think, like, as bad as things feel or get, or as bad as you feel or as annoyed you get about stupid little things, there's serious things going on with other people that you can't comprehend. And I can't understand why someone would, because of my mentality, why someone would take their own life. You don't know the ins and outs, the situations, the family life, and things in between. So it's difficult, but it's just been hard to deal with, like thinking about that the family and of that person and what they're going through and what that person was going through to be led to such a place where they could take their own life at such a young age, at 23. So yeah, the Juice WRLD thing got to me, but I didn't know the guy. He was a singer. This guy I did know. You know, I mean, it's a person you've known. It's like, how can you can't comprehend that, because you met them, you've spoken to that person, and now they're gone. When they could have easily still been here. You know, it's not like when a freak accident happens. You know, this is like someone choosing to leave the earth way too soon. And we're in a world where it seems to be happening more and more. People aren't talking about their problems. They've got these problems they're holding inside until one day they just can't take anymore. And obviously it's never that simple, is it? That's how I'm saying. That's how I'm explaining it. But that's the mindset I've been in. It's been difficult. And it's Christmas as well. So it's certainly a melancholy time. Like trying to be happy for Christmas, but dealing with all this. And it's hard to like do both, find a line between both. But you got to get on with it, and you know, because there are people that get led to that place, and you've got to just be able to be there for them. People around these people, like check in on one of your friends you haven't spoken to in a while, you know, see how things are going, because it makes a difference to people. Like just talking, it is therapy. It's a form of therapy, and people get off help from that sort of thing more than you realise, really. Even someone's not on that level of taking their own life, but people can get down all the time, and you just need, in that moment when you're down, like you're not getting a text from anyone maybe, but just think about all the people that care about you and the people that do appreciate you. You know, I mean, you don't need loads and loads of people to appreciate who you are. Maybe all you need is 4 friends, trust me. You can take over the world, you know. It's as simple as that. And not everyone is privileged to have a big enough family that I have. Like, when you've got a family that I have, like, you haven't got time to be down. Because someone will come to you and be like, what's wrong? Talk, you know. What's up? Or one of your uncles, or, you know, one of the older men in the family be like slapping some sense into you. Like, you know, get on with it. You haven't got time to be depressed. Like, I speak to my grandparents, in their generation, they never knew anyone. But now I can count people on my hands that have some sort of issue linked to it. You know, back in the day, people didn't have that sort of, they didn't have the time. Or they would be branded as crazy or loopy, and they'd put you in a home of some kind if you had depression or anxiety, you know. But think about it, like years ago, they used to think being in love was a disease. That wasn't right, because years ago people would only marry other people for financial benefits and to make their family richer. Like, say there's a guy who's got 15 sheep, and a woman, her family, has only got 5 sheep. She's going to marry the guy with 15 sheep, because then they'll have 20 sheep together. Then her family can be richer. It wasn't about love back then, you know. So times have changed, and whether everyone that actually gets branded with depression and anxiety has it, who knows? There's things like ADD that they're branding loads of kids with. They're saying you've got ADD every time. They're overdiagnosing. You know, because back in the day, there'd be 1 in 100 kids. Now it's like a lot more than that. So times are changing. I mean, there's different ways people get affected nowadays. Back in the day, it'd be the people you chat to in the pub, down the, you know, at work, at a football match. You know, now it's online, and people you don't even know. You're seeing these people with their fake, perfect lives. These influencers, and it's BS, to be honest. Like, influencer what? Who the fuck cares? Like, what are you influencing, you know? Like, don't worry about what other people are looking at, you know? Just do your own thing. I'm not trying to influence anyone. I'm just, right now, just podcasting, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to start a revolution. I'm just chatting. Just talking, literally. But words do a lot. And like, saw that advert for like cyberbullying, and like how kids like getting messages, and he's getting bullied via messages, you know, via Facebook Messenger. is getting bullied. You know, back in the day, it'd be at school, you come home and you get away with it because everyone had a bully. I had a bully for a few years when I was a kid, and you go home and you get away from it and you forget till Monday morning. You know, and back in the day, most kids that were bullied would then, some kids, in my case, would end up hitting the bully and getting in trouble. The teacher just happens to be watching when you turn around and hit the bully. You know, that was my problem. But I got an innocent face, I would say. I was guilty. No, but yeah, things are happening on a greater scale with all the technology we've got at our fingertips. Like, how many screens do you need? Like, people want screens in every room in their house, like, so they don't miss anything. You know, Amazon Prime, whatever. Amazon Now, more like literally, Amazon before you've even thought of something, before you even press buy, you want it delivered to your house. You know, you want someone to break into your house and literally put whatever you ordered in your hand. That's the world we live in today. And Alexa and Siri and all this. But that's moving off the subject. But I said Instagram does affect people, and like, I don't post on Instagram every day. If I do, it's to voice my opinion or share a bit of music that I like. Always on there sharing music, or talk about my vlog or podcast, promote them. That is, whenever I upload something. It's just the way I do it. But like, to show off, I don't really do that. I have the odd photo, serious photo, with a banter or a phrase or something, just to like let people see how I'm doing, like people across the world, that is, friends and family around the world. That's why I have Facebook and stuff. But Twitter is just a nasty place, and it makes you think these rappers, they get into a lot of problems from Twitter, and just delete your Twitter. It's simple as that. Delete your Twitter, and you're fine. And people are so easily offended today. You comment on someone's post, and then you're in trouble somehow. So imagine being famous. It's double that spotlight. It's a huge spotlight on these famous people, these young rappers that are making more money than they can count. And don't get me wrong, some of them are good at what they do, some of them are not. But the ones that we've lost have been missed, because they're the cream of the crop, some of them. And why we've got the rubbish ones when, the rubbish ones are still here. No offence to anyone, but you know what I mean? The low lifes, some of them that don't deserve the fame and have taken advantage of their power. R. Kelly, for example, you know. People like that, they're still here. They're taking the wrong people, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, it just happens to be, yeah, it's like Christmas. Yeah, maybe Christmas people want to be happy and pretend there's not other shit going on that's not good, you know? It's hard. I always feel guilty Christmas, but it's like in life, I think what you got to do is you got to draw a line between faith and like self-belief and like being humble and appreciating what you got, and you know, understanding that there's people with less. I can never find that balance between being having faith in your abilities, being proud of what you do or what you can do, but at the same time being humble. It's like Christmas, like to enjoy it but appreciate that not everyone has this, not everyone is as lucky as you. I just realised, like, personally how lucky I am in some situations, the family I have, a house, you know, the simple things. We take it for granted because we've got our multitude of screens and like AR, was it AR? AI, like Siri and Alexa and all this. That Alexa annoys me, to be honest. Like, it's just listening for you to say Alexa, but it's listening to you the whole time. It is the CIA, I'm telling you. Like why a lot of people put sellotape over the webcam on their laptops, because you don't know who's watching. Edward Snowden, you know what I'm saying? Banter. Guys, alright. Now I'm gonna lean back. Like that song by Fat Joe. If you know who that is. I'm just chilling. Because I'm feeling relaxed, I'm feeling good. It is Christmas time. This is weird. Christmas time, eh? Like, it seems like it never arrives, and then when it does, it's here and it's gone too quickly. It's one of them things. But some people just don't like Christmas. Right, all the glitz and the glamour, some people don't appreciate it. I don't blame them because there's people with less, like I said. But you know, it's a funny old world. Christmas just makes everything a bit more, and everything just feels different. Not better necessarily all the time. Like sometimes I feel it's forced, like the fun and everything. Christmas Day I'm always forcing myself not to get in an argument with anyone, because that's what I do a lot of the time. To try and keep it light, you know. And then watch a good movie, Home Alone or something. We ended up watching the Bond film, to be honest. They're always on at Christmas. We've got a box set, but we end up watching it on Sky or like BBC with adverts. But what I'm looking forward to is Gavin and Stacey the most. It's been 10 years and they're having like a reunion episode on Christmas. And then back in the day would be Doctor Who, which if you're not from England is like time and space travel. It's like a guy that travels through space and time, like meeting aliens and stuff, and like traveling in a small blue box. Yeah, Doctor Who. If you don't know what it is, then you won't understand what I'm saying. If you know what Doctor Who is, you know how terrible it's become now. But when it was good, I used to watch that all the time. The days of David Tennant, you know, or Christopher Eccleston. But yeah, things like that at Christmas. Some of the TV just gets on my nerves, like the Queen's speech. Like I never watched that. Come on. Like nobody lives in the luxury you do. You know what I mean? So who cares? How can people that in that level of richness appreciate what we do? How many bedrooms? How many rooms does Buckingham Palace have? I've got nothing against the royal family, but yeah, you know, nobody's got that many rooms. They should tax her for each room. Forget us innocent people. But anyway, guys, like in relation to what I said about the other night, next door our neighbours keeping us awake. Well, we've got a plan. Well, we did call the police, and they said, well, we're going to send someone around, you know, maybe have a word, or you phone the council. So we've got a friend of ours who is a copper, and he's going to go there pretending he doesn't know us, and just like knock on the door and like shit them up, basically, tell them off, because literally they had cars blocking the whole street. They had like a car at the top of the street keeping lookout or something, I don't know, like blocking the streets so nobody could get in or out of the street. And yeah, they were just till 4 a.m. blasting out music. I'm going to do the same now in the middle of the afternoon. But the rules are like, no matter what time of day or night, if your neighbours are making too much noise, you can knock on the door and ask them to lower it. This was 4 a.m. Nobody's going to get out of bed and ask them. But yeah, they've done this in the past, and they just don't like us. Full stop. Either they got us parking outside their house, like there's no designated parking on the street. You know, at the time she's like, "Oh, my disabled mother couldn't get out." Well, excuse me, you're not seeing me. Like, yeah, you got your side of the story, but yeah, like why are you blocking me from getting into my drive then too? Literally, they parked in front of my drive once, as if they didn't know, you know, nowhere else to park, but block our drive, yeah. So it's like an ongoing little beef, and we just avoid them and they avoid us. But every now and then they decide to do this, and we weren't the only ones. That the whole street's fed up, you know. Crazy neighbours. But yeah, what can the police actually do? I mean, Boris, you got off you got rid of half our police force, and he says he's going to get them back. We'll see. Yeah, anyway, the election, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. The election was mental. Like, a lot of people that obviously, in my situation, very disappointed with the result, because it does affect a lot of disabled people. If they're going to privatise the NHS, that's not good. It's not good for me. I didn't vote because they're all liars and they all really got the same plan overall, just to be in control of us. So I don't agree with either side. I don't take sides, but Labour did promise free Wi-Fi. Who cares? What about feeding the poor or like proper healthcare? Free Wi-Fi, who cares? But no TV license for old people. And then the other side, like all these new people that are conservative. Like in the north especially, there's a lot more, apparently. And the north is predominantly Labour. And they shifted. And that's how Boris won it somehow. Fake promises. Oh yeah, we'll get Brexit done. It's been 3 years. It's going to be 2020 soon. And, the Brexit deal is spanning over 2 decades. 2016. And then we're going to be in 2020. Another decade is starting, and we're still getting Brexit done. If we ever do. Like, people are losing faith. People never had faith, but I think that people lost it, like, long before Boris, Even before Theresa May, people had lost it already. Like, she was reduced to tears and then jogged on, That's politics. It's quite funny. Just out with one idiot, in with another. One group of lies and then another group of lies. And then you have politics. Like, no offence to anyone in politics, but like, sort your shit out. Like, sort it out. Need some cutthroat politics. No politics is good, bear in mind. But yeah, I didn't vote, and don't take that as an example not to vote. Like, by all means vote and get your opinion heard. But, like, I don't care. Personally, like, which side doesn't bother me, but like, yeah, it's good to have your voice heard. I just didn't vote for my reasons, and everyone's got their own reason. But I don't judge anyone who did vote. Either side, by all means. But yeah, I don't know how I could ever trust a politician. They're snakes, they're snakes. But you've got to vote because you want your voice heard, really. And the people have spoken. To anyone from supporting Labour who thinks like Conservative people are like heartless and cold for voting against, NHS, like voting for privatising the healthcare, NHS, anyone who voted Conservative is being branded as like heartless and cold and they don't care about everyone else and people with less money than them, they don't care and all this, but it's not true. Some people just want what's best for their situation. Like, my parents, they're sole traders, and technically, yeah, they can vote for who they want. Technically, they're very conservative, but yeah, maybe that helps them in the business, I don't know. Personally, myself, I don't know what I would have voted, but as a disabled person, you might think Labour, but whichever, like, would have been for my own reasons. Everyone's got their own reasons, and you can't judge someone for voting for something else. Like people on Facebook that say, "Oh yeah, we're still friends even though you voted for another party." People are trying to not get abuse. But that's just politics. It's like football. You support one team, I support another team. We're gonna have football banter. It's unavoidable. And I've voted in the past, and one time I did a video about it. I just went there, put a giant X over the whole page, or it's either that or like an X on every box, or a tick or whatever it is. Because that's like an invalid vote. That's me showing what I think of these politicians, because they don't know what the people want. But yeah, we've got to forget all that. Because it's Christmas, isn't it? This is supposed to be a Christmas podcast, and it's been the most serious one in a long time. And yeah, I'm back to my room podcasting. And I prefer the lighting in here, to be honest. Obviously, I'm going to change the brightness and stuff. But yeah, I switched to my room just because it's warmer as well. Because if you keep the heating on near the Christmas tree, it's going to sag. Like that Christmas tree is an old man now. It has sagged that much. If you well, I'm not going to explain that because like that's not a pleasant joke. But this Christmas tree has to take a plastic cup to the bathroom. If you know what I'm saying. If you're a bloke, you know exactly what I'm saying. You know that joke, or you don't. But this Christmas tree is sagging big time. So we've got the heating off completely in the lounge where the tree is to keep it alive, basically. It's a real tree, so a bit of hairspray helps. Don't know why hairspray helps, but it does. And yeah, I'm sure you've all got your trees by now if you celebrate Christmas. We always wait a bit to like the second or first weekend of December, and there's people already getting them up on like the first. Like, come on, like we haven't got that much time, My parents work 6 days a week. Monday is the day they have to get everything sorted, like banking and shopping and all that. And Sunday, I go football, and then with that, half the day's gone. So how much time we've got to decorate? So many people with much more free time. Well, I got a lot of free time. I'm slowing down with the vlogs for a bit for Christmas. I might vlog the Tottenham Chelsea game that I'm going to on Sunday. That's going to be lit. But yeah, I'm just doing podcasts and the live streaming and the gaming videos, which I'll probably do one after this, either FIFA or GTA, because I've got a plan for that video. Because with GTA, I've always done like a live stream, so I've got the mic and then other people in the game can hear me online, and then they start chatting shit or like talking to me, and it's like proper annoying. So with the GTA Fridays, I'm probably going to record them in advance, like upload the video with edited footage of me playing. So I want to use this mic basically, and it means all the people that are playing online won't hear me chatting the whole time or get abusive or rude while I'm trying to vlog or game and talk to you guys at the same time. So it's going to be like pre-recorded, and then I'm going to upload it Friday. That's the plan. I'm going to do it like in the next few days, then upload it and then publish it Friday. Simple. And a bit of Call of Duty somewhere in there. But I'm doing sick at FIFA at the moment, so it's between FIFA and Grand Theft Auto. I got some of my ideas from the Sidemen, like the way they just do like missions and races on GTA Online. Like for years they've been doing that. That's how I came to know the Sidemen and KSI and this whole crew of misfits. They're all mental in one way or another. And I watch a lot of their content now, a lot less of Logan Paul's content. It's not necessarily because he lost, or it's more the fact that he contested the points he lost. Like, what do you expect, Logan, Another draw, then you can fight again? No, nobody wants that. You've got enough money. But yeah, so the Sidemen, they started with this whole GTA Online thing, but they pre-record it. They record the gaming and then they record themselves filming, like playing on a webcam at the same time. So it's not live, it's not, you can cut out any swearing and stuff and edit in the best bits. Probably what I'm going to do for the GTA Fridays, get out all the loading bits in between, the bits where I'm waiting for a game or a race to start. Just get in the best bits. Probably about an hour and a half long, an hour. Or a good half an hour maybe. But I'll be playing for much more than that and I'll edit it in. Simple, but you don't need to know that because it's a secret. Well, not anymore, but they're just revealing all my secrets to you guys. And yeah, guys, do you understand that when New Year strikes, midnight strikes and it becomes New Year, it's going to be a new decade. And I don't know what they're going to call this decade. They can't call it the 20s because we had that already. We've had the noughties, the teens, or what, teenies, I don't know. I don't know what this one's going to be. But we'll see. And where were you 10 years ago? Get in the comments. Where were you? Like, 1st of December. Wait, no, 1st of January. What do you mean 1st? 1st of January. Or 31st. Yeah, where were you? 31st of December 2009. 10 years ago. I didn't even cross my mind then. It's only just crossed my mind now that we're entering another decade. And I hope the decade has been good to you. The decade before that was alright too. The noughties weren't too bad. But, like, I know I was only a kid, but, like, when the new century began, like, you know what I'm saying? When we went from 20th century to the 21st, that, from 99 to 2000, everyone thought it was the end of the world. And it pretty much was the end of the world. Because think, a year later we had 9/11, then so many wars, I can't even remember how many wars since 2000 we've had, and terrorist attacks and all this. So the world has gone to shit since then. But I remember that people were going crazy, like it's the end of the world. The millennium, they built the Millennium Dome, which is now the O2. Like, nobody remembers that, do they? Nobody. Times have indeed changed a lot, guys. And that's what happens. A decade. How much has changed? How many iPhones have we had in the last decade? But think, when I think that the year 2000, was 2 decades ago. When I think that was 20 years ago. Weird. I've been alive through 3 decades. That's nothing. I'm a little guy. Think about people that have been through way more decades than that. 50, like people, I don't know, like 5-6 decades. Some people more. You'd be like 60, 70. Amazing. Life. But you don't think about decade. Nobody thinks in decades. We think in years, in days, months. You really got to live in the moment. Don't live in the future, and certainly don't live in the past. Because no one's the person they were 1 year ago, 1 day ago, or 1 week ago, let alone 1 decade ago. Not a decade ago, or when this decade started, I was 16. Completely different. I'm a man now, I'm saying? Like, I was 16 then. 16, you think you're a man, just because you're legally old enough to do certain things. But you ain't a man at 16. You don't know shit at 16. Let alone 26. But yeah, I'm still me. I still love life. That's the thing that's maintained. Maybe not with everyone, but yeah. If not more. Back then you're at school, you're shitting yourself about what comes after GCSEs, A-levels, and in my case, a serious operation that shit me right up, I kid you not. When they say, okay, we're going to put you to sleep for 7 hours, and we're going to put rods in your back. That's how I was at 16. That makes you grow up. That sort of fear. And yeah, a lot's happened since then. Like, I've immensely improved in parachair football. I've graduated uni. I've, travelled a lot. I've been to Denmark with parachair football, and how much have I learned in that time? Because you learn every day, and like I said, you're a different person you were from last year, or 10 years ago, or 1 hour ago, because you learn. And don't think you're that person from before. Don't see yourself as that. Because if say you failed in the past, just because you failed in the past doesn't mean you're going to fail in the present and the future. Because that will teach you how to not fail. think about Michael Jordan. How many shots Michael Jordan admitted that he missed, and that's why he's so good. Because he just kept going. He missed, and he kept going. But because he's missed so many, he's also scored a lot. Because you learn what you did wrong. You know, that's a small analogy on the scale of things. But yeah, no one's the person they were last week. You learn a lot in a week, good and bad. And people are very self-critical. But like I said, you've got to draw a line between self-pride and faith and belief in yourself and being humble and down to earth and knowing that the world doesn't revolve around you. As simple as that. And if you're having a bad day, maybe 100 other people are too. So don't go treating people like that. But then again, people shouldn't treat you bad because they don't know what day you're having. Everyone gets a bad day. You know, and you just never know. So, you got to take every day as it comes. Don't worry about the past because it's done. Get on with the future and the present. Live in the moment, That's what I say. That's what you got to do for the next decade and every decade to come. Because if anything, I admit, in the last decade, we're still in it, but or the one before, I've done things I regretted or not done things and regretted not doing those things. Like, people think it's what they do that they regret. Sometimes it's what you don't do you regret. And, they say the sage acts by doing nothing. If you're not a sage, don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? No one's a sage. That's an ancient thing that doesn't exist anymore. Something acting is doing nothing. Like, in some situations, yeah, if you do nothing, that's the worst thing. And you're to blame and you're the culprit. If you know someone's in need and you do nothing, and they take their own life, that's your fault. In some sense, like the people around these people that are in these situations, we need to be accountable too. Because we've got to check in on them, and if they're our friend or our family, we've got to make sure they're okay. Enough worrying about our own stuff that is only material. Like, when can I download the next series on Netflix, or when can I watch the next thing on Amazon Prime? No, I sod that. There's more important stuff. And what the last decade has shown is that people get more and more obsessed with their material stuff. And they're all guilty of it. Even me. But yeah, what I can say that what I'm the most proud of in the last decade is what I've started on YouTube. Parachair football, yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs in that. As you probably know, if you've been on this channel long enough. In terms of changing teams and stuff. But I'm happier now than I was then. Than when of course, you don't necessarily, how to put this, you don't get better. It just gets more difficult, and you're able to deal with that more, if you know what I mean. Like, no one else gets worse, everyone gets better, but you get better too. Like, in parachair football, that's what I've learned. And it's not always about the one person getting that glory goal, it's about the pass. Assists, they don't count them actually. But if I get an assist and my team score a goal, I don't care. Because I got my team over the line, I helped. Even if my team score and I'm not involved, I'm on the bench, I don't care. I'm still happy. It's still my team, Because you contribute to that success with the hard work you put in training. That's like in anything when you have to practice to make perfect, In anything with that, like that kind of idea, to achieve Kung Fu, which means sublime skill at something, whatever it is, the smallest task, you can sweep the floor with Kung Fu, if you know what I'm saying, with sublime with skill. My dad cuts hair with skill, maybe. Some people might not agree. I kind of make YouTube videos with skill. So some might say I have Kung Fu. Kung Fu or whatever however you say it. But you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got a skill. And I've honed in on that in the last 10 years. When I was at school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really know what I was good at. And now I kind of do. But maybe I don't at all. Maybe 10 years from now, in the next decade I'll be doing something completely different. Who knows? Anything can happen. Could be homeless, I hope not, but the way YouTube's monetizing and demonetizing every video, no chance. Well, there's a high chance of being homeless, because they ain't paying out like they used to. YouTube, come on, give us the cash. We need cash, money. But yeah, I've increased subscribers. I don't know if I've improved as a YouTuber. I don't know. I've increased in subscribers, so thank you for those of you who have subscribed recently, and the day one home there. And the day one old school homies, the day ones, like, you're here still. Credit to you. Yeah, it's just great. Whenever I get even one new subscriber, it feels great. But yeah, things are on the up for the next decade of YouTube. Hopefully, if it doesn't get wiped off the face of the earth by TikTok. Well, all the Musical.ly people went to TikTok. All the Viners ended up on YouTube. So we're kind of good there, it's separate. But dare I try TikTok? I could do. I think I'd be pretty good. I was good on Vine. We'll see. I might have to try TikTok. That would be lit. Trust, I'm going to download it right now. I'm going to download TikTok right now. But yeah, so, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and decade. But I still haven't told you where I was at the beginning of this decade. I was in Milan, in my aunt and uncle's house, well, where they were staying while they were redoing their new apartment in Milan, and that was a mental holiday. And those are my uncles and cousins and aunties all gathered there up north in Milan. It was fun. That was the first time I properly went to Milan. Saw, the Duomo and all the other famous things, all the nice shops. That's where I got my Inter Milan jersey. But yeah, I even remember, was it the last film or the first film me and my brother watched of the new year, that year, of the new decade, was Ghost. It was on TV. This was after midnight, and we'd all finished partying, were still awake, finished drinking and celebrating, just had a TV in our room, just watching Ghost in Italian on Rai Uno. I don't even like that film, and that was the first time I'd seen it, the whole film, like in its entirety, in full. The first time I'd seen it in full. I know the word I'm trying to say, I just can't say it. But yeah, memories. And of course I was in Milan earlier this year. My same uncle and aunt from Milan are coming over to England again like last year. So I'll be spending New Year with them like I did 10 years ago, but in Milan only. That was the only difference. And I'm not watching Ghost again. Patrick Swayze, R.I.P. Legend. But yeah. Christmas movies. I wouldn't say that was a Christmas movie. Home Alone, Elf. Maybe Harry Potter is Christmassy. Die Hard. Though Bruce Willis says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It is. It is. Love Actually, that's a Christmas movie. Life of Brian, I was watching that the other day actually. There's a few others. Scrooge. Grinch, The Grinch. Now that is a Christmas movie. I'm talking Jim Carrey, The Grinch. Not the crappy animated version. And obviously all the kids nowadays, Frozen. That is the movie for these kids. But yeah. 10 years ago. Makes you think. I thought I knew it all then. You're never going to know it all, that's for sure. And one thing I have become in the last 10 years is a bit more humble. Less cocky, that's for sure. Because back then I thought I was the shit. And I look at my dress sense back then and I'm like, what the hell were you doing? How wide are those trousers? Like, come on. Now style's changed. Now I've got style. That's the difference. And you look at my brother 10 years ago, you wouldn't recognise him. Because he's all got his nice hair and his gym henchness, if you like. When 10 years ago, he was just a fat kid. He was just a fat kid with moppy hair. He didn't have moppy hair. Bad hair, anyway. I always had good hair. Bear in mind, regardless of what decade, I was born with good hair. And you can see I've done it again. A little bit of highlights for Christmas. Got to look good in it for Santa. Still believe in Santa. No. But we're going to eat so much food. We've got a few friends coming over too for Christmas for the first time. Normally it's just my uncles and my mum and dad and my grandparents with my uncle's bad jokes and racist jokes, which are actually the funniest, but I can't tell any of those here. But yeah, this year we've got a few guests, so I hope he doesn't embarrass me. But no, actually, please do. It'll be so much banter. But yeah, we've got a few close friends over too for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's going to be even more fun, even more banter. Hopefully watch a Christmas movie. Yeah, and like, then New Year's always mental. We have more fun on Christmas, but New Year, I think one year me and my brother tried to go out, but they were charging like tenner to get in the pub, so we're like, nah, it's calm, we're going home. But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, enjoy the time with your family, keep it real, stay up, stay humble, stay hungry for more, don't get too comfortable in life, know that there's people with a lot less who would really love to have what you have, so just be nice, simple as, celebrate Christmas, the holidays with your family, time off, then what more can I ask for? Then you lovely audience, thank you, and I'll see you in a new decade, though I'm probably going to upload before then, but Merry Christmas, for sure. And that is it, guys. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast 26. A lot of podcasts. If this was the Christmas one, it should really have been podcast 25. But hey ho, it's podcast 26. It's your boy, Louisa21, saying goodbye, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Until next time, take it easy, guys. Peace. Goodbye.